This is your 7-1 to 7-3 study guide. Question number 1 says to list an event that would match these sections of the probability continuum. So let me start with just talking about what's on your probability continuum. So for example, if something is impossible, let me pick a different color. If it's impossible, it can never happen. If something is unlikely, I'm pretty sure it won't happen, but it might. As likely as not means I have to 50-50 shot. Likely, I'm pretty sure it's going to happen, but I cannot guarantee it. And certain means I have 100% chance of whatever happening. So the ones on your study guide are unlikely and likely. So I want you to think about something that you're pretty sure is not going to happen, but it could. And I want you to write the event here. I want you to think about an event that you're pretty sure will happen, but you can't guarantee it, and I want you to write it here. So pause me, go ahead and write those things, and then come back and see what I came up with. Okay, so I think it's unlikely that I will win the lottery. Wouldn't that be awesome? But I'm pretty sure it's unlikely. Not impossible because people do it, but pretty unlikely. And then likely, I think it's likely that you, whoops, that's you, let me undo that. You will have a quiz tomorrow. So I put down that it's unlikely I will win the lottery. I mean, wouldn't that be awesome? I don't have a very good chance, but it's not impossible. I mean, people do win it, just not me. So it's unlikely I will win the lottery. And then for likely, I put down you will have a quiz tomorrow. That's pretty likely. I mean, I can't guarantee it because what if there's a huge blizzard and we have to stay home from school? What if I win the lottery and they take us all to Disney World? But those things are pretty small, so the chances of those happening are very small. So it's likely that you should be ready for a quiz tomorrow. All right, this is question number 2. And I have this lovely spinner here, and we're going to start off with the sample space. And the sample space is going to list out all the outcomes on this spinner. It uses these weird brackety things. So there are 6 spots on this spinner, so there should be 6 things in my sample space. There's 2 2s, a 3, a 4, a 5, and a 6. So I should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 things in my sample space to match my 6 sections of my spinner. All right, so we are going to do both fractions and percents. So let's start with the probability of getting a 1. So I'm going to look on my spinner. There are 0 out of 6. That is 0%. That would be impossible, friends. The probability of getting a 2. Well, there are 2 out of 6. I could write 1/3 if I wanted. That would be absolutely okay. To change that into a percent, I'm going to take 2 divided by 6 times 100. For this quiz, I want you to round to the nearest tenth. So that means I'm going to get one number after my decimal. Okay, I want you to pause me. I want you to do probability of 3, 4, and 5, and then you're going to come back for checking before we do the last question. All right, the probability of 3, I'm going to change colors. There is 3 out of 6 spaces. To change that into a percent, I would take 1 divided by 6 times 100, and I'm going to round that to the nearest tenth. That is 1 decimal place. The probability of a 4, there is 4 out of 6 places. That looks familiar. I just did that. So it is also 16.7%. And the probability of getting a 5, well, my friends, that is also 1 out of 6, or 16.7%. All right, let's talk about whether the spinner is fair or not. So if I look at my sample space, there are 2 number 2s. There's only 1 number 3, 1 number 4, 1 number 5, and 1 number 6. That makes this spinner unfair. It is unfair because not all of those outcomes have the same chance. Outcome number 2 has an advantage. It happens twice as often as the other ones do. So that makes this unfair. All right, this is question number 3. What is the theoretical probability of rolling a product less than 20? We're going to write this both as a fraction and a percent. Now, I already have this done for you. We wanted a product, so that means we were multiplying. So here is one of the number cubes. Here is the other number cube. So you are looking at this data in here. So don't count the number cubes, count the data that is the products, the main part of the table. Okay. So I'm going to look through those less than 20, and I'm just going to circle them. Oops, let me get a pen instead of a highlighter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Oh, not those two. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. All right, I think there are 28 numbers on that chart that are less than 20. I'm going to go ahead and double check my counting. Okay, out of 36 possibilities. Now, if you are a fraction purist, and you want to simplify this fraction, this will simplify to 7/9. I will take either fraction. Either one is okay. Regardless of whether you have 28 over 36 or 7 over 9, we need to change that into a percent. So I'm going to do 28 divided by 36 times 100. But it would give you the same answer if we took 7 divided by 9 times 100. And remember, on this quiz, we are rounding to the nearest tenth. So no matter which way you did it, you would get 77.8%. So a fraction and a percent. All right, so I noticed that when I transferred this slide over into my video, my spinner covered up some of the words. But you have your study guide to look at, so we should be okay. So I have this spinner, and I want to know what is the theoretical probability that the spinner will land on an even number. All right, so I'm going to circle the evens. 0 is even. 2, 4, 6, and 8. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 10. If you are purist and you want that to be simplified, it's 1/2. Or if you want to call it 50%, we're good on that. But I'm going to go with this one just because it has nice small numbers, and plus I can do halves in my head. All right, the second one says it actually landed experimental probability on an even number 90 out of 150 times. What is the experimental probability? So if you remember, theoretical probability is what is supposed to happen. Experimental probability is what does happen. And what did happen was we had 90 out of 150. If 90 over 150 bothers you because it's not simplified, go ahead and simplify that. You're going to have to hit Simp Enter quite a few times. It's going to come out to be 3/5. What can you say about the theoretical probability compared to the experimental probability? When I'm comparing, fractions are really hard for me. You know they hurt my soul. But percents, they're pretty easy for me to compare. 3/5 as a percent would be 60%. And so if I wanted to compare these two, it would be easy for me. I would say that the theoretical probability, look at, I'm just using abbreviations, was less than the experimental probability. 50% theoretical is less than 60% experimental. And there's some things that would cause that difference. These are the main ones. Luck and chance interfere with experimental probability. All right, we have one of these charts again. It looks like we are going to have a number cube that's going to be rolled twice. So here's our first number cube, here's our second number cube. And remember, we are just looking at the middle. So those outside numbers are just the outcomes for each number cube. So don't count those in your data. All right, so what is the theoretical probability of getting a 4? So there's 1, 2, 3 4s out of 36 possibilities. If that bothers you, that that's not in simplest form, it's actually equal to 1/12. Now I'm going to leave this as a fraction because I know I'm going to do some predictions. And remember, there are so many ways to do your predictions, but your book really was kind of guiding you into a proportion. So using this data, how many times would you expect to get a sum of 4 if you rolled 2 number cubes 200 times? Now you can do this using a fraction key, doing a percent, doing a decimal, using a proportion. There's lots of ways. I'm going to go ahead and follow what the book wanted. I'm going to take 1 times 200 and divide by 12. And remember, we are rounding to the nearest tenth. So we would predict that we would get about 16.7 times a 4 if we rolled 200 times. All right, that is it. I feel like you have a good probability of acing this time.